What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, good people? Welcome to the Birdcage. You already know what it is. This is your boy Ryan Walker, better known as the Historian. Man, we had to take a week off, as you know, celebrating the homegoing of my grandmother. Um, it was tough, but my Birdcage family helped me get through this, as well as all of the fans that tune into our show each week. So I'm very thankful for you guys that have tuned in, have reached out, prayers, and everything else. So we definitely thank you for um, giving us the thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. But we getting ready to get into it, man. I got to bring in my crew as I always do tonight. We got a lot of good stuff for you tonight. And also, we're going to do a little something fun tonight. And we're actually going to have viewer participation. We're going to provide a link tonight where we actually let you come in and actually chime in on some of the topics that we have tonight. So we definitely look forward to that. But before you do, to everybody that is on YouTube, that is paying attention to the show, or anybody that has a YouTube account, do us a favor. Click that like, subscribe button and whatnot. We're sitting there trying to get a little bit of momentum on the YouTube side of things. We've been blessed to have you guys follow us on Facebook, but if you do have a YouTube account, just give us a little shout. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start bringing in my crew. The first member of my crew, my right-hand man, my dog, my partner, my man, Mr. Killian, Killer K. Duck Worthy, man. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Birdcage? Good to be in the building tonight. Good talk, Falcon football. Sorry for your condolences once again, on and off the camera. Man, my heart goes out to your family. Good to be in the house, man. We're ready to talk about this Falcons all season, these free agent moves, all this cooking with all this good ingredients we got going on. We got stuff in store right here on the Birdcage. Just stay tuned, everybody. We got things going on. We got things popping tonight. Let's go,
man. And we also got to bring in our third member of the crew for right now. This is just for now. We got a little bit more coming. We got Coach Brant Gala in the building, man. The coach is in here with us tonight. What's going on? What's going on, Coach?
Not much. How are you? Condolences, Ryan.
Hey, man, I definitely appreciate it. She wouldn't have it any other way but for me to continue to do what we're doing, man. So, it's been a blessing. So, as I said before, for those who are just joining us, go ahead and click the StreamYard link if you're in Facebook so we can see your comments and actually be able to interact with you. But we're also going to provide you with the link so you can actually join us into the chats later tonight for the talk. So, without further ado, let's get to it, gentlemen. Let's get to it. So thank you again for the prayers and the condolences. I really appreciate that. Getting to it, speaking of passings, former NFL referee Bill Levy passes away at 76 years old. He officiated 2 Super Bowls in his career, had a nice long career and a nice long life. So prayers and condolences out to his family. The second order of business, we're going to lighten it up a little bit. The NFL finally reinstates the number 0. The last time that we saw the number 0 was on a man by the name of Jim Otto, who is a NFL Hall of Famer. Played for the Oakland Raiders back in the 70s. He was an original Raider. Center, defensive line, he did it all. But everybody knew him as 00. That was his nickname. But now that they're reinstating the number 0 to the NFL, Calvin Ridley chooses to wear 0 down in Jacksonville. Who do you think is going to be the one who's going to wear that 0 for the Atlanta Falcons coming up?
number 0. I think it'll be somebody probably out of the draft that we get probably put on that 0.
So you really believe that they're going to bring somebody out of the draft for that one?
What are you talking about? The wear the number 0?
Yeah, that's going to wear the number 0.
Yeah, you better be a dog. You wear 0.
Why not?
Hey, I'll put it this way: if they would have drafted Darnell Washington, better known as Granddaddy, I think it fits him perfectly.
Hey, look, yeah. We don't
know. You gave him the nickname. I'm not taking credit for it. I was getting ready to say you were the one who gave him the nickname, but
he can still.
So here's the other thing, man. Let's just be real with it, man. So of course you see I'm rocking the Braves cap today. Open today for the Atlanta Braves. The Bravos get that dub 7-2 today. Shouts out to the boys,
Yes.
representing correctly up in DC. You already know what it is. But anywho, outside of that though, Coach, what do you think, man? Who do you said it's got to be a dog or whatever to get it? Who do you think will be able to pull that off or whatnot?
I'm kind of stumped on that one. I got a feeling it's going to be somebody like a defensive lineman or something like that. That's going to want to jump in there and do it. That's that demeanor that you got to have. So I don't know. I mean, I'm at a loss. I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest with you.
Well, speaking of demeanors or whatnot, we got one of our other guys in here, Mr. Graybeard, better known as the old man of the crew, even though he's not that old. We just call him the old man. Our man, Glenn Smalls, man. Welcome back to the cage, brother. What's happening?
Fellas, ladies and gentlemen of the BirdCage, what is going on? How everybody doing?
Hey, man, you already know what it is. I had to take it old school for y'all today, man. A little something before we get into it. I'm going to take this back to all my hip-hop heads who originally from Atlanta and you lived around the 285 area. So if you know about the Young Blood, you already know about the 285, man. This is a BirdCage exclusive, baby. Yeah, I had to do a little something, man. I rolled through 85, so I was thinking about it, man. So you already know what it is. Hey, what's going on? One of my cousins is tuned in for the first time. What's going on, Keita? And Mike and everybody else down in Florida.
Keita.
To the broadcast. Yeah, we gotta welcome him to the cage, man. It's getting bigger and bigger every week, baby. You know how we get out. Now, Artavius, Artavius, you were so huge on this kid, Christian Gonzalez. Man, this joker disappears fast as a hot dog used to disappear in front of Barry White back in the day. Come on, man. That dude is not going to be doing too damn fly smash. I'm sorry.
Why you got to do Barry White like that, man?
Hey, man, rest in peace. But everybody knew that brother man could do his thing or whatever on the stage singing, but he also did his thing at the potlucks, at the company potlucks too. Not to wave a piece of chicken or a hot dog in front of the man. Man, so you know how it go. Hey, man. So.
Hey, man.
Yes, sir.
There's too much information going on right now, man. We need to get
Hey, man, I had to pay. Look, we always talking about paying homage and everything, man. I had to pay homage to two guys that really helped put the Attic crew on deck or whatever, and was responsible for a lot of the sounds that came out of there. Everybody don't remember that unless you from Atlanta. You remember that T.I. used to be in the Attic crew back in the day before he blew up. He was one of the cats that was, in the cut. So, I went old school with it, man. So what's going on, Foot? We're going to have a segment where we bring you in tonight, my brother. So we're actually going to ask fans today, who do they think deserve to be on the all Falcons defense? Hey, man. Wow. My mom jumped on on YouTube, man. Shout out to my mama, man. She stepped through.
That's Mom.
Duke's in the building.
Mom Duke's in the building, man. She's getting the hang of it, but she definitely supporting, man. Pretty soon she's gonna be starting to make cakes for all of us and everything for for our get together that we got coming up for everybody in the fan club.
Yeah, I take that.
Yeah.
I take that.
So here's the other thing I got for you with the Out the Cage segment. Lamar Jackson is going to possibly decide whether he's going to sit out or not for the 2023 season because of everything that's going on, man. How do y'all feel about Lamar Jackson sitting out for a year? Honestly, in your own words.
Deshaun Watson.
He better be prepared to sit out 2 years because they can franchise him twice.
Yeah,
exactly.
Most definitely.
In my opinion, we were talking yesterday, Ryan. 32 million is nothing to sneeze at.
Nope.
Take your money.
Yeah.
Show it on the field. Show what you can do, and let your play speak for itself. That's the only way you're gonna get out of this. because slinging mud. Yeah, I mean, there was bad choices on both sides between himself and the league by setting the bar that high for Deshaun Watson. Everybody knows that nobody's worth that kind of money to do it. So, I mean, I just think he needs to take his 32 million and go play right now.
I agree. I mean, I agree with Coach, man. I think you don't want to hit out an entire year because number one, you're gonna get rusty. Number two, your value could decrease. So they just be like, look, you're more of a headache than you're worth. So I
Hmm.
mean, Coach Brent said, man, $32 million, it doesn't need that. Kirk Cousins got franchise tag like what 3 times?
But
And
Kirk getting his money though, that's the thing. You
yeah,
you got to
but
get out of
still
your
he got
feelings
paid.
and you got to go get your money, man. Go
Yeah,
get
but
your
he got
bread.
but yeah, I know, but he got paid after the third time on top of the franchise tag. So he still benefit from it regardless. This man got 34 million one year, then 36 million the following year, then 38 million.
Mm.
So I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, you already know how that goes or whatever. But I'll just say this here, man. You know, when we look at it or whatnot, Lamar's in a situation like this. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a child's game, and you're not gonna get paid $32 million on the drop of a dime like that working any other job. Unless you're unless you own a Fortune 500 company, and even then, that paycheck isn't going to hit your account the way that the NFL check does. I'm just saying. I think you need to go ahead, capitalize on it. You know, bite your tongue, do what you got to do, play that contract out or whatnot, leave and go elsewhere and find and see if somebody's willing to touch you. But apparently, you're seeing that nobody in the NFL wants to have anything to do with you.
I
Not for
mean,
that kind of money. Not for that kind of money.
Yes,
No,
what he's put out on the field the last 2 years. If he has a better track record of staying healthy on the field, and is that play he has is sustainable for the long period, they probably would have paid him that money. So what he has to do now is like to piggyback off of what everybody else is saying on the panel is
mm-hmm.
go play on that money. He has to go play on that, and the league will show you better than they can tell you. Go get you a real agent that can go in there and wheel and deal for you. And then the next time around when this comes up, he gonna score you the big deal. And you're gonna have to give up that 10%, 15% or whatever you and your agent, establishes as far as their payment for their services.
Well, he's 26 years old, and I mean, Patrick Mahomes has kind of set the standard now. I think everybody agrees with that. He's got 2 Super Bowls, and he's making 40 plus a year. What has Lamar done to justify making what Patrick Mahomes has done when
Well,
he's won one playoff game?
so they gonna he judging it by what Deshaun Watson did.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
but
can't
but
worry
he's
about
Put the cherry on
but
top of
you
it.
gotta
I
you
got
gotta
an
take into
MVP.
consideration Jimmy Haslam is a nut job that owns the Cleveland Browns that is paying way too much money. I know him. He's a Tennessee guy, so he's like Jerry Jones. He just. You think Dak's worth 40 million? I mean,
Hey,
come on.
but that's
That's
what
what I'm saying.
y'all Tennessee boys known for that good moonshine up there. He probably was drunk off of it when he put the contract out there.
It
Man,
might be.
I'm just get a savvy agent. The agent can go in there and maybe reconstruct some deals to where you can have you'll be up for a contract about every 3 years. Sound like 3-year deals. You don't have to. You can set the Lamar deal.
Exactly.
See what I'm
And
saying? But
I'll just say this, man.
you have
When
to
you talk about it,
establish
Lamar, like Scoop said earlier, Lamar played his hand last year. You're trying to play poker. You're not edgy, and I hate to say this because I'm not one to sit there and bash anybody because you know what? Get what you're worth. Do what you feel. But at the end of the day, it's like this. If you're going to be your own representative and your own agent, what you need to do, you need to go back to school in the off season, outside of working out and getting your body in shape. Start taking classes. Start being able to handle your own money. I'm gonna throw a name out there that most people don't think of, but a man that handled his own money, his contracts, and everything else because he was educated, was Bill Cosby. The man had more money. The man had money long as train smoke. and you know how long chain smoke goes when it's going down the track. So let's just be real on this here. You know, if you put yourself in a position where you can get educated on how to handle your money, and also you go in there and you're able to speak their language and understand what the ins and outs are, you might be able to negotiate a deal. But if you're going in there with a mentality of I'm just gonna go in here and hustle, that's not their language. They have a there's levels to being a hustler. Let's be honest. You have your low level hustlers, you have your street hustlers, you have your corporate hustlers, you have your Fortune 500 hustlers. So when you talk about it, you're walking into a situation with Fortune 500 company men who are running these NFL organizations. Let's be honest, man. I'm not gonna knock you because I want you to get your money, but brother, that's out of your league. You didn't grow up in meetings like that. You didn't grow up learning the art of being able to speak their language. You must put yourself in a position where you go back to school and you learn how to talk their talk. You still keep all the knowledge you have from what you came from. If anybody is getting what I'm saying between the lines, let's just be honest.
But the key
Lamar Jackson is a guy that I'll say this. Lamar Jackson is a guy that I respect because he's standing on his own too. But I would rather him stand on his own too and be equipped with the weapons to go in there and fight that fight if he wants to cut out having an agent. That's just me.
But he needs that knowledge. I mean, like you said, he needs that knowledge. If anything, he should have reached out to somebody. That's been in the game for a minute. And it would have been like, hey man.
But most people,
this what you need, this the direction that you need to go to try to get what you want. Sometimes you gotta play chess, man. And like you said, man, every day. I mean, for me, man, he should have played chess. He played his hand last year. That right there was pretty much like an audition to be okay. I want at least $40 to $45 million a year. You were hurt, you were injured. Everybody give you credit for that. But my thing is, he already should have expected them to at least franchise tag him at least once before they try to get a final deal. Now, my only thing is, this deal should have been done like at least a year ago, or probably 2 years ago. The Baltimore organization was dragging their feet, but if you look at their history, they always did that. Terrell Suggs went through the same problem, trying to get his money. So this is nothing new to Baltimore.
You speaking on just you just speaking on the Ravens organization. Go further back when the Colts used to be there. One of the cheapest organizations back in the day. And Coach Brandt is old enough to remember when the Colts was in Baltimore before they jumped on that Mayflower truck and slid out of there to Indianapolis. Let's just be real. When you talk about it, Baltimore was cheap with one of their golden arm quarterbacks in Johnny Unitas who won them championships. They were cheap with Hall of Fame running back Lenny Moore. They did not want to pay Big Bubba Smith. They did not want to play Hall of Fame linebacker Mike Curtis during those Mad Dog Mike Curtis during those days. They didn't want to pay Big Daddy Lipscomb and Johnny Sample. That's the reason why Johnny Sample left and went to the Jets, which was even worse when you talk about paying money. Because Weave Eubank was a bit of a cheapskate, and he literally put the blueprint out with that. But truthfully, you go back and look at it, even George Halas, the man who ran one of the founding fathers of the NFL, he flipped around nickels like manhole covers, quoting Mike Dick back in the day before he got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles and then the Cowboys. So when you look at it, let's be real. You can't show up to like my man is Cam saying, you can't show up to a knife at a gunfight. You can't. You've got to come in there with body armor, just like a U.S. soldier, and you have to be armed to a T to go tooth and nail to get your money. Because rich folks trying to hold on to their money, poor folks trying to get their money.
Rich folks didn't get rich being dumb by throwing money away. They have to be they're trying to be as frugal as possible.
Exactly.
And still put a winning product out on the field.
Exactly.
I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's their money. They can pretty much do what they want with it.
Well, you already know they're gonna screw. You already know that they're gonna screw folks over with that money. You know that, and we understand. And here's the thing: we also understand what the deal is with that. And most people are not gonna pay attention to that, and most folks are not gonna really see that Lamar is in a no-win situation in this in this situation. If you had an agent, I said this, Drew Rosenhauser would have been able to get you that type money. Let's be real. That is one of the most craftiest agents ever. Bit of a snake, but guess what? You got to have a snake to go into a snake pit. It's just what it is.
I would have called whoever represented the freaking Deshaun Watson. I'd have been like, okay, what's up?
Hey, it was probably Rosenhaus.
Yeah, probably. Look, man, he stole. I know he had a gracious bonus by pulling off that. My goodness, man.
Well, I think if he's going to go this route and do it by himself, I think you got to take a longer deal, like a 5-year deal, but then have it front end loaded with the option to get out at the end. That way, everything's not guaranteed. If you're going to go that route, put it on yourself. Where you have incentives, where you can prove it. Hey, if I'm worth $40 million, let me show you. I think that's fair.
Prescott deal, right?
Yeah,
he got like a 5 to 6 year deal with the Cowboys.
Yeah, put it on yourself. Go out there and show them you're worth it.
Agreed.
I say set a standard, man. You go get your 3-year deal, and 3 more years you be up for a whole new other deal. That's
one way that you can. That's one way that you can do it. That is one way that you definitely can do it or whatnot. I'll say this.
Don't take what I was saying before about he's not worth it. I didn't mean it like
no. We understand that you're not saying his talent. He's got the talent that's worth the dollar. The problem
he's one of the 3 most talented quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Hands
down.
There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, hey man, I want to hand you $250,000 or $300 million.
But we need a team. But here's the thing: we need a team that's actually gonna help us win ball games. Let's just be real. We need a team. You need a whole team. You do not just need a quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. You don't win ball games with just a quarterback. The line of scrimmage. Let's be real on this. Most of you casuals out here, and yeah, I said casuals because I've seen it, and I rolled my eyes because I've seen it. The game is won in the trenches. Let's be real. You can't win if nobody's blocking for you. Your quarterback can't throw from his ass cheeks. Let's just be real. He can't throw sitting on his ass cheeks. And it don't matter if you got Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas, Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady. We can talk about Hall of Fame quarterbacks, but let's be real. If you ever notice when they had shaky lines that were just as shaky as asses are in Magic City on a Monday night, you already know you're not gonna put up no numbers. Let's just be real on it.
Man, look when Andrew Luck retired because his offensive line was terrible,
and he valued his health.
Chewed through, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that man probably still had about another 10 years left in the league.
Stanford education.
What would
when he went to the Lions? Let's be real on it.
What would Dan Marino have done had they had a top 10 defense the years he played?
Could you imagine if Dan Marino had a running game?
That's what I'm saying. But even just a defense to complement what he did,
he would at least have 3. He would least have
3.
Well, you got to blame Don Shula for that because Don Shula dumped all that money into him, and Bob Kuechenberg, God rest his soul now. Cooch actually talked about that. He said Dan Marino was never a team player. He said he was never a team player, and he said for a guy that's never a team player or whatnot, you have to really have a quarterback that's gonna sacrifice. Most people don't sacrifice like that, so you already know what that does.
It's the most dominant position in football. People ain't gonna look at the quarterback to take sacrifices.
Exactly.
That's just how it's always been. But if you look at the quarterback that has done and has sacrificed, they won at the highest level. Repeat it. And what I'm getting ready to do right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna post it in YouTube, but I'm also gonna post it. We're also gonna post it in the regular Facebook links and the Facebook groups that we're in. We're gonna post the link so people can come in and talk about the topics that we're gonna talk about tonight. We're gonna do a little something different because we're gonna make this fun. So after our topics that we have tonight, we're going to talk about this all-time defense. So if you want to get in on the conversation, we're going to provide the link. We're going to post it for you guys.
I just posted the link in YouTube. So y'all get at me. We're getting ready to post that link in Facebook for you guys so we can make sure that you guys can get in here and chime in to what we're talking about. Now, agreed. So Tim, you made a valid point. That offensive line cost Mahomes the second Super Bowl against Tampa Bay. His line was banged up. His offensive line was hurt, and he ran for his whole life. He pretty much ran about 400 yards just trying to get away from that defense.
He was running for his dear life.
He gave up the draws. He had to give up the draws, and it wasn't willing.
He gave up more than some draws.
So let's get to our first topic tonight, man. And we're gonna start bringing in people or whatnot. Like I said, I provided a link in YouTube. I'm gonna provide one in Facebook momentarily. Just waiting on that to happen. But while we're providing that or whatnot, let's talk about this free agency analysis in the Dirty Bird topic. And as you can hear, Coach is out in the wilderness right now, just like a lot of the media is at this point right now when it comes to the Falcons, because they judged the Falcons and said we had a D, and when you have some magazines, some sports writers rated us with an F because we didn't go after Lamar Jackson. Newsflash.
Hey man,
we need a whole team. We can't just win with one guy. We were a bend but don't break team. We don't care about the narratives that you guys write. The hell with what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're thinking about winning and sustaining a team. It's called building. Grady Jarrett has already been a star on this defense. Some people like him, some people don't. We've had some people that we've got in debates about Grady Jarrett, but hey, everybody's entitled to their own opinion or whatnot. Me and my veteran compadres in this chat right about now, gave up our rights and fought in the military for people to have an opinion, no matter how wrong or how jacked up it might be. Hey, it's not our place to judge it, but we got opinions too. So let's keep it real. You bringing in a Calais Campbell, you bringing in a David Onyemata, you have Eddie Goldman coming out, you have Taquan Graham coming back. We haven't even drafted yet. You're talking about a facelift, adding with Grady Jarrett on his defensive line. Calais Campbell's not going to play every snap, but you bring a guy in here that can play 2 to 3 snaps or whatnot, give Grady a breather, and he's still in great shape for a guy that's been in the NFL for 15 years. Let's just be honest with this, man. I think the next thing that we need to address is this offensive line. Because, we signed Caleb McGarity. Yeah, we signed Chris Lindstrom to resetting the market for guards. But here's the thing. When are we going to start looking at Jake Matthews' replacement? Matthews has been solid and has been a very good player, for Atlanta. The only time we catch him is when he's screwing up. But outside of him screwing up, when are we going to have a young buck that's going to come in and learn from this man so we can plug and play when his contract is up? Because guess what? We still tied to his contract right now, so we can't get rid of him yet.
He's got the biggest cap hit on the team.
I believe next year when we got like $100 million in cap space again, then we'll go get a better to replace him.
I think you better get one of those young tackles that are out there right now. You got 2 of them that are day one starters. If you can snatch them up and you do it and you let them play behind them.
Where are they at, Coach?
The kid from Georgia and the kid from Tennessee. Those are young 2 options to start a tackle.
Yeah. If Jalen Carter falls to us that far, Coach. If he falls to us.
Yeah.
I
don't think he's gonna fall.
Darwin, I'm telling you, either one of those guys, they've done it in the SEC. They're proven. They passed the eye test. They passed the metrics test. They can play. They're day one starters. Both of them are.
No, I like those guys. But what I'm trying to get at is if that plan does not work, if they don't fall to us, those 2 guys in particular.
Because I don't want to hear Skoronsky. He's a guard.
Oh boy! Of course you don't want to hear Skoronsky because we know you want your boy from Tennessee, but we already toughest as I said before, Skoronsky held his own in one of the toughest conferences for one of the worst schools.
He's a guard. I'm telling you.
So here's the thing. Now you're saying that he's a guard, Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Why would you? Why wouldn't you use him at tackle? Because he's versatile. He's played both.
I understand that, but you're talking about a replacement for Matthews. That's what I'm saying. You get one of those two cats, and you've got your replacement. You
But
don't know that Soronski is going to be a tackle. He can fill in, he can spot play, but I'm talking about your 8 to 10 year starter.
Yeah. If you say
well,
That's what I'm talking about.
so
Either one of them two, you mark my word, both those guys will be starters and they will be franchise tackles wherever they
so
go.
what? So what would you say about Bruce Matthews, Jake's dad? Jake's dad played every position on that line, Coach.
That was
You
a
know it.
different game back then. Listen, I'm old too, but that was a whole different game than what they're doing now. They didn't have cats running 4.5s coming off the edge like they do now,
yeah.
and 4.3s.
Well, like, hold on.
I'm just saying they did. They
Lawrence,
did.
hold on. Lawrence Taylor was an anomaly at that time
That
back in
was
the
an
day.
anomaly that
Exactly.
changed the
And
game. But now
Richard Dent was the other anomaly that had speed coming off the edge.
but that they were the anomaly. But now that's the standard. You had to
Yeah.
see somebody once a year or
Yeah.
twice a year if they were in your division. You got to
Yeah.
see them 17 weeks in a row now.
I'm feeling you, Coach. I'm feeling you, Coach. Because guess what? Things change just like cars change, houses change, the league doesn't change. So
Mm-hmm.
so here go. So the key thing is, I feel like what he said at the beginning of the topic was, we want a guy that can come in and learn from
Matthews.
learn from Matthews, right? I don't want nobody to learn from Matthews. I want a veteran. I want a veteran.
Hey, you paying somebody $26 million a year on
He
you.
better learn
You
something.
better
you
get
said
something
you
out of
don't
him.
want nobody to learn from Matthews. Now, this is my thing. Now, Matthews has been solid. Now, I'm not gonna knock him because he's very disciplined. He's very
Yeah.
disciplined. That I'll give him. And he's been durable. That is something that is very hard to come by because availability is your best ability. And there's no difference between a guy that's hurt, a scrub on the bench, or a guy that's not playing. They have no impact on the game,
Right.
whether it's negative or positive. So
Everything makes sense. But guess
I mean,
what?
we give freaking Matthew some crap every now and then, but I give him his due. He showed up, he committed, and he's a blue collar worker.
Right.
I gotta give him a little flower on that. The
I
man shows
give
up to work.
F. E for F.
Granted, if we get somebody better to upgrade the position, absolutely, no doubt.
So who would you upgrade? So here's the question: who would you upgrade the position with? Because now, I brought that up. He's starting to get a little long in the tooth now. Who would you upgrade the position with? Because
I guess
with the money that we're paying him now and the money we've been paying him, all I'm gonna say is, what you gonna upgrade him with? Who would you upgrade him with?
That's right now. I mean,
next
because
year,
we paying this man $26 million.
I'm gonna give you a guy that I've been saying for the longest. I want DeJuan Jones out of Ohio State, 6'8", 65, 68 pounds in between that range. Very nimble for a big man, and he has a pop when he comes in. He comes off the line and he engages into defenders. And when I say, and ladies and gentlemen, when I say he has a pop, what that means is if he comes off the ball, he's curled up coming out of his stance. He's coming up with both hands up and he's engaging into the defensive player's shoulder pads. And as a former defensive player, played safety, understand what it's like to have to take on big boys when you got to come in. When you have a pop, you're feeling that. And that's where that bench press comes in at. That's where those sled workouts come in at. Most of those, I'll say this here, DeJuan Jones is a guy that you wouldn't want to stand in front of. That's literally like an oversized refrigerator with legs.
Bigger than
You're
that.
saying that is an oversized refrigerator with legs. Or you can say he's a bear without hair. That's the best way to describe him.
I mean, I look at Terry. I think what Terry's gonna do when he get ready to go, really narrow down his draft pick.
Yeah,
he's gonna look offensive line. He's gonna look at the tackle. He's gonna look at the center. Okay. We still need to upgrade from that. I'm gonna give Dom one more year, but we still need an upgrade from that. And he's gonna narrow down. I think he's gonna be between the kid from Tennessee the kid from Georgia. Karanki is gonna be a wild card, and I don't think he's gonna be there. I think somebody gonna snatch him up. Don't be surprised if Houston hint don't try to make him move to get back into the first round to get this kid. So I'm just saying. So the draft is gonna be fireworks, man.
Yeah, man. Fireworks in the draft.
Yeah, it's gonna be some fireworks.
Terry Fontenot said you thought I was cooking earlier. Watch this hot grease.
I'm telling you, the man Terry got a plan, man. Terry has a plan. If you look at what the free agency and what he's been attacking so far in free agency, the man got a plan. Definitely got a plan laid out.
I could tell by free agency that they really, like we've been talking about on this BirdCage, they really did their homework.
Well, and when we talk about it, let's be real. Terry started off from the ground up. I'm just going to be honest with you. And yeah, I say it all the time, and I got a bit of a confident swag with it. Let's just be real. I said up front, you put me in the scouting department, I'll find you some killers, and I guarantee you I'll help bring a championship to Atlanta. I'm confident enough that I could do that because, as I said, you got to be a student of the game. You got to understand what you're studying, who you're studying, and what type of personnel is going to fit your scheme. Arthur Smith bases his scheme off of power and speed. Let's just be real. Power and
Joe
speed.
Gibbs.
And when you talk about it, Joe Gibbs, you go back to back to the 49ers. People forget how physical they were offensively because they saw the West Coast offense, but you didn't realize that those offensive linemen were beating on defensive linemen. I give you another legendary, to me, I feel like this. They're one of the greatest offensive lines in NFL history. No, I'm not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They got two Hall of Famers. That's the 1976 Oakland Raiders. That offensive line played in multiple conference championship games, played in Super Bowls, and literally was one of the most consistent winning offensive lines in the league. Kenny Stabler rarely got touched. You had Art Shell and Gene Upshaw on one side. You had Dave Dalby, the pig, at center, who helped them win 3 Super Bowls. Then you have happy fella John Vella. And once he ended up phasing out, you had Florida A&M, a.k.a. FAMU's Henry Lawrence, who played on that offensive line, who lasted for some years. And then you had Dave Casper, and then it moved down to Todd Christensen. The moniker of the Raiders was speed and power. The moniker of the Falcons is speed and power. They're starting to bring in guys now. This draft is going to be guys that they're going to bring in for speed offensively, but we already got the power down pat. That's not a problem. It's the speed that we got to bring in.
I agree with that, and I think when Terry, I think Terry really gonna earn his money when they get to that third round. When you get to that, finding them diamond in the rough. When you get to find them players that you never heard of, players that wasn't highly scouted or whatever. I mean, that's what any GM, that's how they make their money. It's in that third to seventh round. First 2 rounds, they'll give you that. Third round, you earn your money.
So here's the thing. Now, my man Daniel Ryan Woodle just brought up Eddie Goldman coming back. Now, Eddie Goldman quit before the season started. Let's be real. Eddie Goldman said, "The hell with y'all. I'm getting ready to just go ahead, put my 2-week notice in before the season even starts." He said, "No, sir." Now you bring in a guy like Ryan Nielsen, who is a respected defensive coach, and you bring this man in. And here's the thing: let's be real on that. This man has a great history with defensive linemen that he has transcended and he has developed. You look at Davenport that plays in New Orleans, David Ayumeta, and you even look at Cam Jordan, no soft behind. That's another one. I call him soft because he's an ain't. I can't stand him, but it's all good.
I'm with you. But make no mistake about it, Jerry Gray is going to play just as much. He's going to be the bigger cog in the wheel as Nielsen is, and it might not be on the name side, but he's your co-defensive coordinator. He's going to be calling just as much of it as he is. I guarantee it.
He's got over 30 years. He's got over 30 years or whatnot of coaching experience. He was an All-American at Texas, first-round draft pick for the Houston Oilers. He played for Jerry Glanville. He was a part of storming the beach in Houston. So if you know anything about that storming the beach crew, you had Chris Dishman, you had him, you had Bubba McDowell. I'm talking about guys that can lay the leather. And Bubba McDowell, shout out to Bubba McDowell. He's out at Prairie View A&M. It's a rival of them Southern University Jaguars, baby. You know, unfortunately, but I got to give a shout out to him because he's taken everything that he's known and taking it to an HBCU, and he's got some killers that's coming out of there, whether you know it or not. See, I think Terry, like you said, Terry's gonna earn his money in the later rounds, and as I said before, a guy that I really want in the secondary. If we don't draft Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr., I don't want Gonzalez. I'll be 100 with you. Give me John Nunn Liddell out of Kentucky State. Give me John Nunn Liddell. If
I
anybody
want to
got
see him in the alley. I want to see him running the alley. Man, he can
exactly,
get downhill. He
and
runs
he
that
plays
alley.
corner and safety. He's versatile. He can play the
Yes.
nickel. He can play on the island, and he can come down in the box and be another linebacker that can run. But the difference is the kid plays with an attitude. So if anybody
got
that's
hips.
HBCU
He's
fans
got
out
hips.
here, yeah, he got hips and feet.
Hips. Yes.
If anybody got to see the Black College Hall of Fame football game this year, which is played in Canton, Ohio, and you get to see all the kids that are coming out of HBCUs, and you know that's going to probably end up being low-level draft picks just because of the name of the schools that they're coming out of, unfortunately. That kid literally was a problem. Xavier Smith is literally the best wide receiver coming out of the HBCU program right now, the FAMU. Then you have Shaq Davis and then Jadakiss Bonds. That dude, John Nunn Liddell, literally bottled up Xavier Smith when he was on it. When they took him off, Xavier got off. That showed me enough right there. He can body anybody that you put him in front of. And he's a local Atlanta kid, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So I think it would make sense. Bring the kid home. He's been out of state. He knows what it's like to have to fight and scrap and earn his way and literally be seen. You bring him in. No harm, no foul. You bring in a low name guy that's not going to cost you that much. You still have money for a rainy day if you bring a guy like that in. How do y'all feel about that?
I love the kid. You and I
job.
talked the day of the game.
I mean,
And what's scary about him and what's scary about the kid is when you talk about it, he plays with reckless abandon like Ronnie Lott used to. I'm not calling him Ronnie Lott, ladies and gentlemen, but if you want to talk about it, he's like a Swiss Army knife, period. But
And the kid's
if you
got
ever
really
get a
good
chance,
size
check his
too.
film out.
I said that kid's got really good size. He is
Yep.
not a little man.
6 foot, 6'2", 6'3", around 205, 210, and runs a 4.4, 4.5 40.
Yes.
I like it. But getting on to our free agents or whatnot, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Calais Campbell comes in, Joey Gaziano comes in, and then you have Scotty Miller who's coming in to help out with the receiver spot. Now, we already have Jared Bernhardt, who I think should get a fair shot because Ritter was very comfortable with him in the preseason last year and throwing him the ball. He suffered with a growing injury and a hamstring injury last year and didn't really get much time on special teams or whatnot. Scotty Miller is pretty much Jared Bernhardt with a little bit more speed. Solid route runner. His hands are decent, but I'm not going to say they're the best because we've seen him drop stuff that he's not supposed to drop. Now, they bring that in to try to help out in the slot. The question is, which direction in the draft do you go when it comes to wide receiver? I just gave 3 wide receivers that are coming out of HBCUs that are dangerous, but let's talk about the big-time wide receivers. You got Josh Downs that's coming out of North Carolina. You have the kid out of Houston, Dale, that's coming out. I mean, you have so many different so many different flavors of receiver that can fit this offense. Like which way? And then I got to shout out Mr. Jalen Hyatt. Got to shout out Tennessee boy to make Coach happy at the bottom.
I'd rather have Tillman than Hyatt.
So what's the difference between Cedric Tillman and Hyatt? You know that
Hyatt's 6 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric Tillman is 6'4" and 5'8" and 216 pounds and running a 4.4. You never hear Jalen Hyatt if the kid from Akron doesn't cheap shot Cedric Tillman this year, and he doesn't have to have tightrope surgery on his ankle. He was an all SEC receiver until then.
True.
So I just, man, him in London, 265 receivers out there, and then you got Jonnu Smith and the unicorn, and I mean, yeah.
Hold it.
Think the best
Wait a
available.
minute. Hold it. That's the term that he got to earn, Coach. He ain't got
I
that
said
term,
it.
the unicorn. I can't call him that.
Unicorns are mythical creatures, so that's why I'm saying it.
That's more like a damn government. That's more like a damn government barred mule that's plowing the field. Pretty much that same mule that's in your barn out there is related to him. That's just pretty much what he is. A government jackass. Until he can shake that, hey, it is what it is, man. And I know I'm gonna get some people that's gonna give me grief about Kyle Pitts, but I'm just gonna be real with you on this. Until he shows more effort, until he runs better routes, until he stops getting in his feelings when he doesn't get the ball or whatnot, hey man, and you're a first round pick, I expect more.
I'm saying this from a schematic standpoint, from a scheme. As an offensive coordinator and a play caller, if I can make you balance up, to where you can't overload me, I got your ass beat. So with that being said, if I can take London and
you wouldn't
tight
go over
end,
the top of me.
and I can take another tight end and another one, and then I can have Ritter and Algier or CP, whoever it is, Huntley, I don't care, plug in a running back in the back. You have to play me straight up. You have to. If not, I'm going the other way, and you're beat by numbers.
Coach, I ain't playing straight. Look, I'm not playing straight up. I'm playing pool off the hash. So if he decides to underthrow something, I'm gonna take his draws from him.
But what I'm getting at is you can't account for the quarterback in that point. He's 11 on 11 instead of 11 on 10.
Agreed.
That's where I'm getting you. I got you. Because I know where I'm going. You don't.
With that one, Coach. I get what you're saying because it's a numbers game. But at the end of the day, you got to remember, I'm not going to be the only one. But you got to remember, the linebacker is going to see everything that's coming underneath. I'm going to see everything over the top. So if your quarterback, your first year, pretty much, I'm going to say this here. Ritter is technically a first-year quarterback. 4 games, he got exhibition stuff. That's what I call it. He just pretty much got the flow of some things. But when you talk about now,
I don't have to run. I don't have to per se run it. I got to make you think I'm doing it. If you take that 1/2 step, Katie bar the door. You looking at my taillights. I'm just telling you. And then,
you're right. But I ain't falling for it. I'm gonna let you come to me.
But if I can move your eyes and I can coach my guys to do that, or even make you take your drop, and then I start getting on that draw, hey, Emmitt Smith ran all the way to the rushing title with that, running the lead draw for years. So
but here's the thing.
I'm just saying, if you can balance them up and they can't overload you and they have to play you straight up, then they got to pick the poison. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, he said Emmitt Smith.
I know. Hey, there's other running backs that are better than him, but here's the thing.
You had that great offensive line that made it easy for you.
I know.
Oh, yeah, you had a great
I can think of about 4 other people that you could plug in that would have more yards than him. But hey, he's got the title.
I give you one guy that was just an all-around back who I think, and this is just me, a lot of people, he gets forgotten in the shuffle. That's Marcus Allen. That is a guy who did everything. The man did everything. The man was a football player.
Bo Jackson.
Just like, before Bo Jackson was there, he was a league MVP, and he also was a Super Bowl MVP. And that's years before Bo Jackson got there. Marcus Allen was the Raiders offense. He could throw better than any quarterback. He could block. He could catch. He could literally he did everything. When you talk about a guy who is a football player, that was who was one. Now, Cordell Patterson, I feel as if, and I'm not comparing him to Marcus, I feel like he's in that same mode. That's just me. Because CP can do everything. Kick return, punt return. He can throw the football. He can run the football. He can catch it. CP is a football player, not just a position player.
Yep.
I got to make the Tennessee guy smile tonight, but it's okay, though. We know we produce better ball players at UGA, so I ain't worried about it.
Hey, but the
I got the crack on you. So
I know. Hey, that's fine.
So let's get on it, man. Free agency, the defensive line got to face it. How do y'all feel? How do you guys feel that this defensive line is going to do this year when you talk about pressure and you talk about just being able to control the line of scrimmage. It looks good on paper right now, but is it going to be consistent with everybody that's around? What do you think?
Well, for
Hold
me,
up. I think
the facelift was much needed. We should have had this like what
We was
5, 6
putting
years
lipstick
ago.
on a pig before.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you took word right out my mouth, Coach B. But I just look at it at the standpoint that our boy Grady Jarrett does not shut up.
Well, I guess Glenn is having some slight technical difficulties or whatnot.
I think
Killian, I'm gonna let you chime in on that one, man.
D-line holds up. I could be totally wrong, but I think the moves that we made, what we're trying to do with Coach Nielsen is get a rotation going with the defensive line like he had in. So we'll add to that next year in the offseason. But I think we attack it in the draft, and either in the first or second round, we go get a defensive lineman to add to that rotation also.
So, what defensive lineman would you say you would want to go after in that sense? That's my question.
Best player, I think, is the best player available. I think it sees how the draft falls. A lot of the guys that we did our intel and homework on could easily be one of those guys, but it really depends on how the draft falls.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Jalen Carter's there. You take him hands down. All bets out the door.
We can land
all bets out the door. So everything else out and stop, and you take him right now. And you tell Calais Campbell, say, "Hey, this is your baby. I need you to raise him."
Yeah, we could
and
just.
Calais Campbell. People don't know. Like everybody knows Calais Campbell's pro career, but a lot of folks forget that Calais Campbell was a guy that came out of the University of Miami when they were going through their time when after they were robbed out of a national championship by Ohio State or whatnot. I know I got some OSU fans on here that they'll disagree with me on that, but hey, it's just what it was. They were robbed. And honestly, after that happened, they started to go downhill. Calais was on that team. So when you talk about it, he got to see the beautiful side of things, and then he got to see the downward spiral before he went into the NFL. So he was a guy that understood the grind. He has grit and everything that you would want. Now he became more of a spokesperson later in his career, but let's just be real. Calais Campbell was Calais Campbell was a dog. Still is one. That's something that you can't fight. The difference is he's a little bit longer in the tooth and he's just old. That's the only difference. But that savviness that he has, I honestly believe that he could teach some of these young guys, and he could also even help Grady get even better because this man has 15 years in the league. You don't just stay in the league for 15 years and get money off of teams if you're still not producing.
You don't need defensive linemen playing 65 to 80 snaps a game in the NFL. That's not a winning recipe. You have to have waves and levels to where you can rotate people in. And like I said, if you can get 30 or 35 plays out of Calais Campbell and then get, through the whole rotation, they're going to have fresh legs in the fourth quarter and you're not going to have that drop off. Instead of Grady being out there the whole time and his tongue hanging out and he's grabbing his thigh pads and he's bending over and he can't breathe at the end of the game. You got to have fresh legs.
I mean, if you look at our history or whatnot, one of the main things besides having the talent is having depth.
Yes,
absolutely. Didn't have depth. We didn't have depth, especially not in the trenches. On first snap of the ball.
And people that play know rushing the passer is the hardest thing that you can do in sports.
Right.
There is nothing that will make your tongue hang out like rushing the passer.
Right.
And God forbid you got a quarterback that like to run.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be able to rotate people in and keep them fresh. You have to.
So I just look at the move that Terry's making by bringing in Calais Campbell. I mean, he's not going to play too many snaps because he doesn't need to. But what he can do, he could be another voice in that locker room, another veteran presence, something that we didn't have. We were seriously lacking. The only veteran player we had on defense was great, besides Joe Carter. Now you add Joe Carter, Grady, and now Campbell, along in that locker room, especially on the defense side of the ball. I'm telling you, the attitude is going to change. People think they want to change the culture. you change the culture by changing the attitude first and foremost.
Yep.
And when you add somebody like that with the new DC, you're gonna see the change. Like it's gonna be like that, man. People
I
are
still
gonna
think
buy
they're gonna.
into the system.
I still think they're gonna sign Evans back too, and
Yeah,
Well,
they kind of that's even better because for me,
yes, yes,
Troy Anderson only had 2 years playing linebacker,
yeah.
yep.
college and pro.
So
That's not
you
enough.
get him, man. You're looking solid. Then you got the crazy man sitting there. What's he gonna do this year? EOP every other play. Mikael Walker.
He'll show up when he wants to.
Man, when he brings it,
Hey,
he brings it. But man, when he don't, he just like falls off the face of the earth.
I think by bringing in Kamal Biden, man, I think they're gonna add a little bit more pressure. They're gonna be like, and I know the new DC gonna be like, you want to be here? You sure you want to be here?
I think Malone is going to play a huge factor this year
Oh
with
yeah,
Nielsen and the
oh
way he
yeah.
likes to get that pressure because his motor doesn't turn off. He is
And that was,
full tilt. He has no choke. He's fuel injected. Let's go.
and that was another thing that I know that we brought up in the previous year is the fact that we didn't play all our players. We didn't play all the weapons we had on offense and defense. This new DC, he gonna look at what he got. He gonna be like, I can use him in packages. I can use him. I can use him. He's not going. If you can play, you're gonna be on the field, pretty much, and you're gonna be in packages to impact the game. Something that we haven't had in a while. It's using all our personnel, or whatever the case may be.
All right, so we got to move on to the next topic. We'll beat this with a dead horse, so let's move on. Getting to this next topic or whatnot, Terry stretched the budget and he kept money for a rainy day. Do you guys think, and we got to make this one quick because we got some other stuff we got to get to. Do you think, and I'm only gonna ask Killian this one because you guys hit the nail with the the hammer on the nail with that last one. So Killian, so jump on this one real quick. How do you feel as if Terry has stretched his budget and he really kept money for a rainy day or whatnot for future signings or even an emergency fund, as we would say in the real world? How do you think that he's managed this?
I mean, Terry has done a phenomenal job of managing the money that we have because we didn't put ourselves in any bad situations with these deals that we gave out. I mean, the only deal that I see that was kind of extravagant was Bates. But what do you think? What kind of deal do you think to land a top flight a free agent that's hitting the market? You're going to have to pay for. So set ourselves up for the long run. So next year we have another bunch of money. We got to have about $100 million next year. So Terry can do the same thing. And then if I'm praying that it doesn't happen, but we set ourselves up for it. If Ritter does not perform at a high level, we go attack the draft again if we're picking high, and then we take our quarterback next year to be your heir apparent. But I'm hoping that he pans out and does what he needs to do this year, and then we can continue to build that offensive line, continue to build that defense, continue to bringing pieces around Ritter to make him be more successful and be more conducive for the franchise.
All right, I agree with you on that. Speaking of Desmond Ritter, we got to move on to this next topic. Arthur Smith named him the quarterback number 1. Let's get to it. We've already had some people discussing in the chat about it. Desmond Ritter is our quarterback now. Y'all can stop talking about Lamar Jackson. Y'all can stop saying we're gonna bring this guy in, Taylor Heineke. Desmond Ritter was named the starting quarterback.
Let's go.
DR4, aka Dr. Foe. That's his nickname. That's Dr. Foe right there.
Hey,
I'm just saying, we got
I
the
like
Riddler, but
Killian's
we
too.
call him Dr.
The
Foe.
Riddler. I like it.
What you say? You like Dr. Foe or you like Riddler?
I like the Riddler awful well. I'm a Batman kid from back in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, I love the Riddler, but at the same time, you know the Riddler used to always get caught. I need him to. The reason I'm calling him Dr. Foe, DR4, Dr. Foe, I need him to become surgical with the way he can slice up a defense. That's why I'm calling him Dr. Foe. If he can become surgical, hey, you might as well call him Dr. Foe. It's just what it is.
I mean,
if he just doesn't turn the ball over last year like Mariota did, we'll be fine. I mean, seriously, just hold
Mariota
on to the
was
ball.
awful.
I'm just glad we got it established. I'm just
Uh,
glad we got it established before camp. We pretty much already know. Okay, he QB1 for right now. So we can go ahead and get ready for spring practice and training camp right now. Okay, even though we already know the QB battle is still going to happen, but it's just good to know that for right now he's QB1, Heineke's number 2, and then we just build from there.
So here's the thing, man. When it comes to certain things and whatnot, it is quarterback position. Okay, the guy's had time to learn the system. He's in it now. Now it's you get the speed of the game. You getting the start. Does anybody need to take care of something?
My bad. I got you.
But at the same time, if you need to take care of something, man, we'll bring you back in. It's cool.
No, you good.
All right. Help us out with that one, bro. But
yeah, I got you.
Yeah, thank you. So let's get to it, man. But I think Desmond Ritter, what's getting ready to happen is this. Ritter is going to be in a situation to where he's got to perform. Period. You already got half of the fan base that are pulling for you. You got the other half that's just waiting for you to mess up so they can jump all down your throat because you're not the quarterback they want. Now, if you start winning, you're going to keep them quiet. But the moment you start playing bad and the moment you start losing, you're going to start putting yourself in a position where you're going to have fans that are going to be all in your hip pocket. They're literally going to be on your back. So he's got to perform coming into this. Now that he's been named it, people are crying and complaining. Oh, well, it wasn't a real quarterback competition. Okay. How can you have a quarterback competition with a guy that doesn't even know the playbook? Taylor Heineke literally just left another offense and is learning this playbook. This has got to be what it is or whatever. So how do y'all feel?
He's the starter. End of story. Let's go play.
Yeah, man. I know what we're talking about. The team, the owner, the coach, everybody.
Hey,
let's go.
You know what I want to see right now? I want to see him and the receivers and the running backs spending those weeks together, going off on their own, like back in like Matt Ryan and Julio and those boys used to do. That hey, you gonna meet me here? We're gonna lock down for 2 weeks, and that's all we're gonna do is throw the ball. We're gonna work on our timing. We're gonna learn this playbook stem to stern. Let's go. Let's get it.
Well, hopefully he was just waiting for the green light to be like, all right, after gave me the green light, okay, I'm QB1, and he's already getting that coordinated. But I'm just glad that they, like I said earlier, they named them so we can get past this and then like move on to other things and whatnot. Like you said, when the draft is over with, spring practice starts. I mean, with spring workouts. I mean, whatever the case may be. And then
Ryan, you played.
You know.
Yep.
Yeah, next thing you know, man, we got freaking training camp coming up right on the horizon. It's good
Ryan,
getting into draft.
Well, you played ball, and when you're coming in and you know you're good enough to play, and you're trying to unseat the old head or whoever it is in front of you, and you get out there and you make a couple of plays, and then when the coach finally looks at you and gives you that confirmation and says you're my guy, you go. You can relax then, and then let the speed of the game come to you and go play. Everybody's been there and done that.
Right.
It's about confidence.
So coming into the cage or whatnot this evening, you know, he running on Army time or whatever tonight. You know, they ain't never on time for that.
Hey,
always late. We got the green-eyed bandit. Coach Tonio is in the building. What's happening, Coach?
What's going on, man? I've been trying to get on this thing for the last 15 minutes, man. They kept kicking me out.
I don't know why I kept kicking you out, man. Everybody else didn't have no issues tonight, but I guess technology. Nah, I ain't gonna even sit there and lie to you. I had issues with it when I first started, so I definitely get it. But man, we glad that you're in the building with us tonight, man. So what do you think about this? Now we got Desmond Ritter at this quarterback spot. I know you won't talk about Lamar. We ain't out of the runnings, but guess what? Desmond is quarterback number 1, brother.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it. Let's do it. I'm with it.
Baltimore, look, Baltimore ain't getting ready to let that joker go right now, just like that. It's gonna be an ugly divorce before he ends up leaving Baltimore.
It is. It is. It's gonna be real ugly, man. But like I said, I'm ready, man. If we ride Ritter, man, I gotta ride with him too, man. I'm with it.
So what do you think? So here's the question. Now you never spoke bad about him or whatever, but you're also just making sure everybody knows, like, hey, we ain't out of the sweepstakes yet. We still there.
No, not yet. Not yet, man.
So here's the question. Now, I know this might throw a monkey wrench into some people, this might piss in some folks' cornflakes or whatever, but let's just be real. Ritter is the starting quarterback. But what if Baltimore says, you know what? We'll trade Lamar for Desmond Ritter. What if that happens?
Hey,
That
man.
money would be right.
I mean, but here's the thing: if Baltimore wants to go cheap and they send him here, we're stupid enough to pay him. I'm just saying, how do you think this would be with Lamar Jackson if he got traded here? Even though I'm a Desmond Ritter fan, but I'm thinking of all scenarios that could possibly happen, and that is a true scenario that could happen.
Nah.
Lamar's better than Ritter, hands down. That ain't even the question. But you got to deal with theory and reality.
Yeah, the only question that the only thing everybody keep talking about is money. See, yeah. I see a lot. I be reading a lot of posts, and everybody keep talking about he's injured, he's hurt, and he injured all the time. But if Lamar wouldn't ask for that much money, everybody be on that train to get Lamar. It ain't have nothing to do with him being injured, man. Because the man is played 37 games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
a little bit more than that, coach.
Okay, well he's played about 45 games, something like 37-7. I know that much. 37, something like that. As a starter. So he wins. And hey, if it wasn't about that money, man, everybody be talking about getting Lamar. It's about the money, which I don't care. It ain't my money. So shit, give it to him.
So speaking about, now you just said something just now. You brought up the record of Lamar, and we're not comparing Ritter. But let's be real. Arthur Blank has been quoted this week, and he was very outspoken about Desmond Ritter, and also very outspoken about Lamar Jackson. He said Lamar Jackson is a phenomenal athlete, one of the top tier quarterbacks in the league. He complimented him. But as he said before, he would cost too much. We would spend too much money, and we're trying to build a team. You're not supposed to spend that much money right off the bat if you don't have nothing to support.
I truly don't believe that he said that. I mean, what coach and owner have you ever heard to say, "Oh man, he cost too much money"? You ain't never heard no owner say that, man. I have never heard.
Arthur Blank said it in his interview this week. He did say it, and honestly, just be real. He said we got too many things to fix before we spend that much money. And honestly, because Shannon Sharp roasted him about it, and let's talk about it. I'm like this.
He said,
I don't want to be in the runnings for a high-end quarterback, and I still got a defense I got to fix. I still got an offensive line I got to fix. I still got wide receivers I need to get. If I'm going to bring a hired gun in there that's going to be worth that much, I got to give him a team, because that's an investment that you got to win with right then and there, because you know that turnaround and that window closes just like that.
That's true. That is true.
Most fans speak from the heart. They don't speak from thinking about it. They don't think about everything that goes into it. You have to have a team that's going to sit there and that's going to protect that dude, that's going to keep him out of harm's way, because Lamar can only do but so much by himself.
I agree with that.
I agree.
But I also know you had some good argument, some good debates with me and other people on here. I'd like to hear some of your points of, what do you think? Why do you think Arthur Blank in this situation really he finally backed his guy Ritter, but he ended up being in a situation where he's like, nah, he's not going to take him, but you were willing to take Deshaun Watson. Why do you think that Arthur Blank put that out there, put that energy out there like that?
Because it's most talked about. That's what everybody's talking about. And of course,
he got rabbit ears.
And he hears it, he sees it. So
he got rabbit ears.
Yeah, he hears it and he sees it. And you're supposed to back it. You're supposed to back your quarterback. He's your quarterback right now. He's supposed to. He did what he's supposed to do with Ritter. That's what he's supposed to do. And he was supposed to speak on Lamar. Everybody's talking about it. I think they're talking about it more in Atlanta than anywhere else in the NFL. So
yeah, because everybody in the NFL said, man, they ain't spending no money like that on that brother. Everybody's saying that, but as we spoke on
I
earlier,
don't think that's the reason. I just think they trying to see who and what Lamar is really talking about. You know what I'm saying? I think if one team get vested in Lamar, then a couple of people will too. But I really don't. We really don't even know. You know what he really asking for. You know, if he asking for more guaranteed money or more years or more, we really don't know what Lamar's
I
asking
mean,
for.
that's the thing. I mean, we
but
don't
here's the
know.
question though: you take a kid that comes out of, that comes out of areas out of Miami that are a little bit underprivileged or whatnot. He's never been in a room full of Fortune 500 guys that talking millions like that off the rip. You've never been. It's kind of like you. It's kind of like how we used to go to foreign countries in the middle. When all this was in the military, we get deployed to go somewhere, even if it was temporary. You go somewhere where you don't understand the language. You're moving around. You're able to move around. You're able to buy food. You're able to do different things, but you're not able to sit in a room and have a conversation with people that speak a totally different language than you. That's what I'm speaking on when I talk about the agents and the owners. Everybody's saying it's collusion. It's like, no, I don't call it collusion. I say it's pretty much a situation where you don't have an agent. You're not in with these guys like these agents are. I get
Well,
that you're trying to pocket your money,
But
but
who
you
wants
gotta,
to broker a deal for Baltimore and set the market for them, and then they have a chance to come in and, okay, I'm going to one up you on this, and you do the deal for them. Hell, make them do their own job.
of course.
I'm just saying I'm not going to waste that kind of effort on it. And
yeah,
then you're pissing your guys off because they hear that you're involved trying to replace them to bring somebody else in. I mean, yeah, that just I don't know. I think he's hamstrung himself,
Yeah.
and he's going to have to play there. Take $32 million and play this year. He's 26. Hey, maybe they don't do it next year. They can only do it to him twice.
yeah,
So
that's right.
at 28, go get your contract. You can do whatever you want then. That he's still got 4 or 5 years, and he can set that record contract and do whatever he needs to do then. 32 million is nothing to sneeze at.
Well, he's playing a child. As we spoke off the record, he's playing a child's game. And we said, when are you gonna get a job where you gonna get that type of money paid to you throughout a year? Just
Yeah.
upfront money like that. When?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get it like that.
Right. Yep. I
What's
agree.
going on, Mike?
What's going on, Mike?
Now here's the other thing. Now, my guy Mike that just came in or whatnot, Mike, he speaks heavy on Justin Fields still. He's saying our quarterback is in Chicago. And he also speaks on Lamar Jackson. It's like, look, neither one of them cats is coming.
Mm-mm.
Neither one of them cats are coming. We got to ride out with what we
But
have.
I'm with Michael. But Fields makes more sense because he's still on that rookie deal, and then you can negotiate the next deal. So I will say that I have been an advocate.
But let me ask you a question on that right there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Justin Fields still on this rookie deal, right?
Yes, got 2 more years.
He got 2 more years.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Justin Fields wins the MVP next year.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In them 2 more years, the market changes every year, right?
Yes, it does.
So what do you think he's going to be asking for in 2 years?
But here's the difference between Justin Fields 2 years from now and us getting Lamar right now. We could have a solid team in place by then. We don't have nothing in place right now.
True.
Yeah.
You can be creative with your contract and have your checks and balances. You can have your defense solidified in 2 years, and you can have your offense solidified in 2 years. Then you can say, hey man, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to take care of you, but I need this to be a team friendly deal. I'm going to load this up this way so I can still keep your tackles and your defense there that's going to take care of you and make sure that you're winning games. And if he's a smart guy and wants to win, he can still get paid and win. Tom Brady did it for years.
Now, speaking of that, here's the other question I got for you. Now, this is about Arthur Blank this week. He also spoke on the disappointment about the free agency grade by the media. Some of the media members have given the Falcons a D. Some even gave them an F. because of the type of players that we brought in. How do y'all feel as if we've done, we've done in the free agency market to warrant those type of grades? Do you think it's because we didn't get the people that they think we should have gotten, or is it the fact that we got players that they didn't think we would have gotten, and honestly that can fit our system? I'm gonna let Tonio start with this one, and then we're gonna go Glenn, and then we're gonna go Coach, and then we're gonna go K Dub.
No, I think it's because we're the Atlanta Falcons. That's just plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get no love, period, on that. I wouldn't give a damn if we'd have got Lamar, and I take that back. I don't give a damn if we'd have got Derrick Henry. They still would have given us a C plus. You see what I'm saying? We're the Falcons, so we don't get no love. So what's the surprise now?
Now, if this would have been the Saints or whatever, the Bagheads, we already know that they would have got a B plus on their darn grade for the offseason.
Anybody else?
Graybeard, what you got?
Speaking on that, they gave Carolina a B plus.
That's why I said anybody else.
Yeah, they gave Carolina a B plus.
It'll be funny eventually if the Falcons actually win something. And the media, and here's the thing, I think they're gonna do I think the media is gonna do them like they would do the Dogs. Like the media still is not respecting Georgia. And Georgia's back-to-back national champs. And if the Falcons did it, they would do them the same way. Think about it. The Braves won a World Series, lost to Philly or whatnot. They gassed up the Philadelphia Phillies, and they ended up dropping their draws and just taking one sideways or whatever from the Houston Astros like it was nothing. But let's just be real. Atlanta sports don't get no respect. Georgia, I'm sorry, not even just Atlanta. Georgia sports as a whole get no respect. Period.
Look at the Super Bowl year. We still didn't get respect that. Before the Super Bowl even got here, we made it. We didn't get no respect then. So
think about it. Within the last 6-7 years, I say the last 7 years, look at it. The Atlanta United won a chip. The Braves have won a chip. Dogs won 2 national championships. Hawks go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You get the Falcons or whatnot, they're stumbling around. When you look at the change that has happened in the city when it comes to sports and the teams, you really get to see the fact that the media doesn't. It's not a team that's sexy to them. It's not a team that they enjoy. Hell, we don't have a tradition. Hell, the Arizona Cardinals get more respect than we do by the media.
You better believe
it. And the Cardinals have been a doormat for years. They didn't start getting good till Ken Whisenhunt went there with Kurt Warner. Let's be real on that.
Yeah.
If you got a horrible franchise that's getting respect and we're not, come on, man, that should tell you something. So the only way that you get respect is by taking.
Yeah.
And the only way that they're going to take it is literally by kicking in these doors and becoming pirates or whatnot and stealing all the booty, as we would say. And matter of fact, let me make sure I put that out there. Booty is another way of saying treasure, ladies and gentlemen. That is a sailor's term. I'm sorry. You got some folks in here that literally is. You have some folks in here that literally think the booty club when I say that, but yeah, I'm saying that's a sailor's term.
Yeah.
But let's just be real though. Arthur Blank was also had a strong opinion about the diversity efforts, stating that he's opposed to efforts to curtail diversity, equality, and inclusion initiatives in several states. Now we all know what's going on. We're not gonna make this a pop political show or whatnot, because that's what we don't do. But we're seeing a lot of that same stuff in the NFL too. That's the reason I'm mentioning. You see a lot of stuff being alleviated, and you see a lot of stuff that's being hidden. Like, look at it right now. Look at the number of black head coaches in the NFL that are in situations where they're in good situations. But matter of fact, you look at a lot of the ownership. Like we got Terry in the front office, but at the same time, I think we need to have more of those general managers there, because here's the thing: 85% of the league is African American. Just real talk. 85% of that league. When you talk about players, they keep blacks on staff not because of what they know, it's because they can relate to a lot of the players. But the thing is, they're held to a different standard. Like what happened with Brian Flores. Look at what happened look what's going on with Mike Tomlin. I can tell you right now, Pittsburgh fans have turned up the heat on this man up here in Pittsburgh. up here in Pennsylvania. I'm in Philly. They're about 8 hours across the state, but you have Steeler fans here. They're already trying to turn up the heat on this man's chair. Man took him to 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost one. So the question is, when you talk about these efforts of job placement and different things, how do you guys feel as if it would change if we? How do you guys? Let me rephrase the question. How do you guys feel as in terms of as a nation when it comes to the NFL? First, let's start with the NFL. We ain't gonna talk about the nation. That's a whole nother category. But how do you feel in terms that we could change a lot of this here? We already see that we're seeing more women coming into the league as coaches and they're getting opportunities now. But yet and still, you don't have a lot of African American general managers or even hell, even one owner. And you have people that are more qualified for the job. Like Dan Snyder's selling the Commanders right now. I want Coach Brent to touch this one, and then I'm gonna go to Coach Tonio. Coach, how do you feel about that?
Well, I'm a realist about it, and the only way, and I'm not saying it's right, but the only way that it's going to happen is to start getting more minorities into the ownership role. So, and I mean, just picking low hanging fruit, it's going to take somebody like a LeBron or Magic Johnson or somebody to buy a franchise and start putting people in there. I mean, that's the only way that there's no way to police it. You're taking it to a whole different level. And when you say the Rooney Rule, oh, they're just making them interview it. But then what if they're not the most qualified person? I'm just saying devil's advocate on the other side. But in reality, there are people who are more qualified. Should Brian Flores be a head coach? Absolutely, he should right now. Should Mike Singletary have another shot? Yes. You're going to have to get people like Terry Fontenot in these front offices, and you're going to have to get people to give them opportunity. I mean, how do you make somebody cut loose with the money and say, "Hey, I'm giving you the keys to this, go drive it"? How can you do that without just being a dictator and lack of a better word, say it? You can't tell somebody what they have to do with their money.
Yep.
That's if everybody knew the answer to it. I mean, I don't know what it is.
And Frank Wright is a prime example of that. Like, you had years to try to get your stuff straight. You screw up bad in Indy, and you end up getting a job less than a year later, less than 4 months later. You have a head coaching job. Don't y'all see the problem with that? A retread.
Of course.
I keep waiting for some like Ozzie Newsome. He's been in his position for years.
Oh no, he's retired now.
But I'm just saying is he was in his position for years and years and was so successful and building and was the architect, coming in on that. And why not give people a chance? You see that it's right there in front of you. What?
2 Super Bowls.
I know. I can't wrap my head around
that organization from the ground up. And what we see now is pretty much the blueprint of Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's a fact. That's why I brought that up. I mean,
think about it. His last draft pick, coach, was Lamar Jackson. That was his gift to Baltimore. That was his
how many minority owners in sports are there right now besides the guy in Jacksonville? And I mean, who else do we have in the NFL?
Michael Jordan.
No, I'm talking about in the NFL, not just in sports.
Oh no, I thought you were saying in sports in general, but all right. Now, honestly, you really don't have many.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have many.
Maybe Patrick Mahomes is one of those dudes that can turn around and be a minority owner of something, and then partner up with somebody, and if that's what it's going to take. I mean, you got to get somebody to get control and just start giving people opportunities. There's no other fair way to say it. I mean, it's a reality, and it sucks. One of my friends that I play with, I'm wanting him to be a head coach. He's as qualified as anybody in the league right now. and he's the defensive coordinator for the Jags. I've known him, went to school with him, played with him, and his sister is the general manager for the WNBA Vegas team. They just won the championship. They're very
The team
intelligent
that
people, and they have good business sense, and they're good coaches. Cut them loose. Let people go do their job.
I
I
need
just
you.
I don't get it.
Tom Brady can
I
pull
need
a
you to put a
statement.
word.
Oh my
I need you to
God.
put a word in for me or whatever. If he gets a head coaching job, I need to get a job as a scout. Let him know.
I will.
Let him know. I'm dead serious.
No, I'm with you. I just
I
it's frustrating, man. I mean, I don't
look,
know.
I don't mind wearing a suit and tie. I actually like dressing up. I'm just dressed like this right now because we're comfortable right now. But I definitely will clean up my image to be a scout. Trust me, I don't mind.
Right.
But so what do you got, Killian? So we're gonna rotate around. I got Killian coming up next, Coach, and then Graybeard.
Well, like I said, it's the little boys club. It's all about it's the owners league. Won't think anything won't change if the owners don't change. So they can
Yep.
keep playing these different little games or whatever they're playing, but we enjoy the football part about. We don't understand. We don't understand the politics. We really don't understand what's going on. But until they relinquish and ready to partner up, ready to go to the golf course with an African American, ready to go out to dinner and do all the small and the little things with an African American, then you won't see any changes because it's all about who they're comfortable doing business with. They gave Mike Tomlin a chance. He's been there as long as he has, and he's been successful. But like you're saying, he's still getting flack right now in Pittsburgh. So that's what we're going to have to deal with. So it's all about the owners. When the owners come around, then we'll see something come around. Or they'll keep putting all these little things in place, the Rooney rule, the hookah rule. They put all in the rule they want to put in. Unless you're willing to do
Lip
business,
service.
Mr. Owner, then we will not have any change going forward.
Tonio?
Yep.
I 100% agree with both of them, man. It's like politics, and I agree with the African American. Not only putting a African American minority in place, you gotta put some young people in place. Period. It's just like politics, man. You get old people, still got old shit. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put. We do need minorities, but we need younger people in place. Younger people that knows, you know, the recent stuff right now. Because old people they stuck on their ways, so it is what it is. But if we put younger people in place, man, it'll change the culture. It'll change the outlook of the NFL. Period. Anything, not just NFL. It'll change the outlook of anything. Period, man. You need fresh faces, man. These 60, 70, 80-year-old people, they're stuck in their ways. It is what it is with them. So, until we change that, everything gonna stay the same. That goes with politics and everything else.
Yeah.
Coach, you about 10. Coach, you about 10 years away from that 60 club.
Easy now, easy. That's
Nah,
hey,
but
I'm getting closer to
you actually have a
retirement.
young mind. You got a young mind. Them young grandkids keep you riveted. So I can't be mad at that. They keep you on point.
That's right.
So Graybeard, go ahead and wrap us up with this before we get to our next topic.
Right. First of all, everybody had made excellent point, especially Antonio down again. We need younger people, younger mind in the higher positions, man. Because like you said, old people do get stuck in their ways, and one thing they never want to relinquish is power. Never want to relinquish that power. Go used to it. They'll never relinquish it on any stretch of the imagination. But I agree with Coach Brent too. I think we need to get like celebrity star power, especially African American in those positions like a Michael Jordan, who's getting ready to fail. But we need like maybe a LeBron James. I mean, I know Pat Mahomes, even though he got a contract, he got a stake in the Kansas City Chiefs right now. So later on in life, he might be able to
But
be that owner of that team or whatever. But until we get star power and young minds in the upper
Shaquille
echelon
O'Neal would
branches,
be a great owner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he will.
think
He will.
could you imagine?
Shaquille is one of the smartest people
Oh
that's
yeah.
going in
No
America
doubt.
right now.
No
If
doubt.
you look at what he does, just for his businesses and the way he handles his kids and everything. I mean, what he does for people, charity, everything. I mean, he's a bang up guy, man.
Yeah.
He would be great to be the face of a franchise.
Without a doubt.
So what if Arthur Blank? So here's the thing: he works at TNT, right up the street.
Right.
He lives in Atlanta, and here's the funny part: Shaq is a Falcon fan. Let's be real. I think we could probably. I think if Arthur Blank decides to sell the team, I think he needs to sell it to Shaq. That's just me.
I'd be
Could
tickled
you
to death.
imagine? Could you imagine the big fella owning the Falcons? Now he is a Falcon fan. He shows up to games. He roots for the Falcons. So could you
Guarantee
imagine
he can
this
get
man
partner.
actually being an owner
I'd be
of his
tickled to death
franchise?
with it. Man, that dude's got his act together.
Yeah.
Exactly. Financially, he understands how to spend money
All the way
too,
around. That dude
and he's marketable. That's the other thing. He's marketable, and all these young guys know who he is. So when you talk about it, he has relevancy still. So I think, like Tonio was saying, the relevancy is going to play a huge part into that. And you bring a face like his in, hey, you're talking about good money. But to get to it, lastly, we're gonna have a little fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, we did post the links to jump in. And so if you want to join the cast right now, you can. We are going to name your all-time Falcons defense. If you got any different ideas or whatnot, come on in and let us know. We already provided the links. Scroll back into the chats. We have them pinned up in YouTube and also on Facebook. So let us know, who do you think would be an all-time on the Falcons all-time defense. I gotta let the older gentleman go first, from Coach Tonio and Coach Brent. I gotta let the older cats go first before age before beauty. So I'm the youngest guy in this here. So I gotta sit back and wait my turn, unfortunately. So I'm gonna give you guys each a piece of the defense or whatnot, and you name different cores or whatever. So let's start off with this here. Coach, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the linebacking core, Coach Brant. I'm gonna let you have that one. And then I want Coach Tonio to name the secondary. So what
So,
you got?
in my opinion, Mr. Falcon has to be there.
Tommy Nobles.
Novus. Yes,
Yep.
absolutely. And then you got the hammer. He's got to be there.
Come on.
And that,
But-
man, there's
but
then on
wait a
that.
minute.
Are we running
They
three
play
of
the
them?
same spot. Are you gonna have the hammer as a backup, or you gonna have him as a starter?
This depends on what front you're running.
If you're
You
running
running
a
a 3-4? You
a
running a 3-4?
4-3.
Or
If
you
you're
running a
running a
4-3?
4-3. If you're running a 4-3 front.
Oh, now you see you put a monkey wrench in my plan now, because I was going
You
off
gotta
of
have
what
the hammer now.
like the Grizz Blitz days.
Well, you know what? Go ahead and throw your plan out there, Coach. I'm not gonna knock you for that. We'll let you have that one since you wanted to run.
We can let them play. We can let them play two different positions.
Yeah.
Man, the third one, there's so many good ones going back, even to the Grits Blitz days, all the way up. But I mean, we had one recently that was a dadgum stud, and I wish we could have kept around. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But he had such a short sample size. I thought Foye Luacom was a bad dude if he'd hung around. You gave him 2 or 3 more years, he would have been, man. I mean, that's hard. I can really only come up with those 3 right now. But,
wow.
No, I mean, because Deion Jones his rookie year was great. Vondae Campbell was great there, and then they kind of eased off on him. But you got Brooking, you got Henderson, you got a bunch of guys that go all the way back.
I was gonna say I was gonna say, how dare you? I got 2 of them for you right now.
I know, but man,
I know those are yours. Those are yours. I was surprised you didn't say Dewey McClain. You didn't say Joel Williams. I was surprised you didn't even say Kuykendall. Captain Crazy.
I'm trying not to load everything on the back end off of it. But honestly, if you're going off raw talent and what they did, if I'm going 4-3, I like that group I just put together right there. I would actually take Foye because just size and speed. I'd take Hammer and I'd take Novus.
That's a good 3. Tonio, what you got in the secondary for me?
All right, you already know I'm starting off with 21.
Absolutely.
Whoa, too easy. Too easy.
You gave me the easiest one on defense.
You did.
You know, I got to start with 21. I go back there to safety, number 25. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
He said Willie Moore.
Which one? You talking about Willie Moore?
Willie Moore, Scott Case. Hold up. Willie Moore, Scott Case, because it was 225.
Come on, y'all know who I'm talking about.
I'm kidding with you, Tonio. I'm kidding.
I'm not. I want to know.
Now, you know what? I did like Willie Moore, though. But I'm not going to put him in here, but I did like Willie Moore.
He can't stay healthy.
I'm talking about Scott Case. And
yes.
On the other side, man, it's hard, man, because I want to say AJ, but then I want to go with, the person that was on the other side of Prime back then, man. So
who, Tim McKaya?
Micaiah!
What?
Man, I'm y'all killing me. Hey,
no,
if I got
man, listen, I gotta put, and I gotta,
if I got to match somebody up on the other side with Prime, I'm gonna match the other shutdown corner, and it ain't AJ. It's Roland Lawrence, the man who led the Falcons in interceptions. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I want to, but I want to, I ain't going way back there.
No, but here's the thing: you can go in any era. Roland Lawrence was a shutdown corner, and he could tackle.
You almost had 40 interceptions in a career, man.
He was. And hey man, listen, this is mine, man. I know where I'm gonna go. I know where I'm gonna go with this. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but I know where I'm going with this. On the other side, I want to go AJ. AJ, I'm gonna let AJ sit out with this. I'm gonna put Brent Grimes on the other side over there.
He was tough.
I can work with that.
I'm gonna put Brent Grimes on the other side over there. That's straight down, man. I'm gonna put Brent over there, and back there, man. I want to put Mr. Jordan back there at strong safety.
Ooh,
He was a thumper.
Brandon Jordan, Scott Case, Prime, and you got Brent Grimes.
And I got Brent Grimes. That's solid, man.
That's very solid.
I thought you was gonna throw Bobby Butler in there.
I was gonna throw Bobby in there, but I think that's solid right there, man. That's a solid secondary, man.
You'd have put too many Florida State boys in there. We ain't doing that.
Yeah, but I erased their past once they put that bird on their chest. So
nah, when you hear Bobby Butler talk and speak, man, you know he a South Florida boy from the country. But okay, that was solid. I was about to say, man, Brian Jordan I could work with, Scott Case I could work with. The guy that I like to talk about, and I think he gets forgotten about, Norfolk State alumni, Mr. Ken Reeves. Gets forgotten about in the secondary. And that was one of the hardest hitting safeties that we had until Scott Case came along. And then honorable mention is Tom Pridemore. Now, why he wouldn't be on the list for me is because he screwed us in that Dallas game in 1980.
Hush.
Ain't no hush, it's the truth.
No,
Tom
I know. I cried my eyes out over that game, man.
Still to this day, I think we need to find out. I think we need to find out his political record. Maybe we can, if he's still even involved in politics. Can we get his ass impeached some kind of way? Because he screwed the city of Atlanta.
Get him out of here.
Let's get him out of there. Get him the hell out of there. All right. So I got to split this between you guys. So defensive line and defensive ends. So I'm going to let Glenn do the defensive ends, and Killian, I'm going to let you do these D-line. So who do you have for your defensive end, Glenn?
Man.
You only got 2.
You lobbed him a softball.
First one got to be Clyde Humphreys, man.
Yep.
Got to be Clyde Humphreys.
He said Claude.
Gotta be. And number 2, John Abraham.
Uh-huh.
Good one.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I was gonna say, damn. So I guess no Pat Kearney.
Oh yeah, Pat Kermit. Oh, would you
Yeah,
put
no
Pat
Chuck Smith, no Big Chuck Smith.
Nah,
Man,
he wasn't John Abraham.
no, he wasn't
John
Abraham, but he could have played on the side of Abraham, though.
over
Yeah,
Nah,
but
Todd Humphrey?
he wasn't Abraham though.
he wasn't
No,
Abraham,
no,
and he's a Tennessee Vol, and I'm saying that.
no. I
Nah,
never said he was Abraham. I just said I'm just giving him out there. You got Lester Archambault. You know,
Yes.
everybody forgets about him.
yeah.
Yep.
So who do you have in the interior, Killian?
On the interior,
Who?
Babineau
Mm-hmm.
Babs.
and on the interior, and give me Grady. Babineau.
Okay. I throw one out here for you. I'm gonna go back to the Grits Blitz days. I gotta put Jeff Merrill in there, respect the big Jeff Merrill. And
Right.
then and also another guy that doesn't get talked about, that's big man. And he passed away or whatever, but he was a monster for us when we had him, Mr. Rod Coleman.
Yeah.
Big Rod. Gotta throw him in there. So I think we actually have a very solid list of people that we've talked about or whatnot. We're gonna do offense next week. But you know, I got to agree with some of the listeners, some of the guys I look like, man, y'all left some good ones out of there.
What about Trevor
Yeah,
Hall?
it's
Everybody-
tough. It's
So
tough.
next week we're gonna do what's up?
I got 2 honorable mentions we got to throw out:
Okay.
Andre Bruce and Jamal Anderson.
Okay.
You know I'm kidding.
Oh, you
You see
said
how I'm
Jamal
looking at you,
See my
right?
face there.
Oh, but it ain't-
Boy, if
I
they would have
didn't fool
panned out. If they would have panned out.
I'm not fooling with you. But anyway, man, we definitely appreciate everybody for coming out tonight, checking out the show. Our first show back or whatnot. We are gonna have more material for you. We got some big things coming. Shout out to my guys over at Tags and Flags, man. Guys who created the 85 shirt with the young bloods on there. They created a lot of shirts that we have that we show on the show or whatnot. Got to give those guys a shout out. Also, we got a couple of more people we're gonna be shouting out pretty soon or whatnot. We're working on a few things or whatnot. So keep it locked in. I want to thank my panel for coming through tonight and appreciate them as always. Guys, you come through, you do your thing for us. We definitely appreciate everything. We definitely will be getting ready for this draft coming up next week, man. So you already know what it is, man, in the building. So thank you guys for coming through. And we definitely will see you guys next week. And I definitely will be checking up on you guys outside of that. And also for the family that's in here, the fans. We thank y'all for joining us tonight in the Birdcage, man. So y'all be safe, y'all be blessed, kiss your loved ones, stay safe, and we definitely appreciate you for coming through, and we'll see you guys next week. Birdcage out.